Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
What is up, everybody? Yes, I am sick. No, I do not have a voice, but we're going to get through this video because a lot of you are going to be killing your bucks soon. So, as you can see, I got some gloves on, and this is the buck I killed this year. And first thing I always do is cut right up the face and then start basically filleting down the sides, just like you're peeling back a fish. This is not a slow process. It's going to take you a little bit to kind of just peel it all back, work down the face, work across the eyes. A lot of people believe that you should pull the eyes out completely. I did not. No big deal. When you're boiling it, they'll fall out. When you get to the front of the nose, you basically just cut right past the skin like everything else. You cut right along the jaw, right along the teeth. Same thing on the other side. It helps if you have a cute pit bull next to you. He is your guard dog and will not let any demons attack you and or let the deer come back to life. I do suggest having a really sharp knife and a really good reason for your wife of why you are cutting a deer apart in the basement. My excuse was because it was cold and I'm already sick. So when you're peeling down the face like this, it's very simple. It doesn't really matter how much meat you leave on there. A lot of people say you should take off as much as possible. I really don't worry about it. Getting around the antlers are very, very tricky. There's nothing really that I can tell you that is the magic trick. It is just a sharp knife and taking your time. After you boil it, a lot of that stuff turns to like gummy bear material, and you can literally just scrape it off with your hands, a wire toothbrush, a sponge, an old nasty sponge, and it'll come off just clean like you'll see here a little bit later in the video. Cut right through the ears, no big deal. There's a lot of little holes in the back of the head that you'll have to just deal with later. You can't really deal with them now when everything's still all attached and all connected and strong, and it's just a process. You just got to keep working through it. If you've ever skinned an animal of any kind, it's basically the same thing. There's nothing new, there's nothing different, there's nothing really besides you don't want to scratch up the skull with your blade. Now here I am outside because my camera battery died, so we're jumping to this. Right now what I'm doing is I used the edge of my knife and I went right up the inside of the jaw and I'm taking the tongue out, because the tongue is just one solid muscle. It doesn't need to be in the bucket. Along with that will come the esophagus. And then you can test the pot of water. Make sure you have enough water in there. If you don't know how to hook up a burner to propane, I suggest you get some help before you blow yourself up. And this is the easy part. You turn on that propane and you take a lighter and you get that boy started and you literally just walk away. Now, if you have ever ate ribs and you've heard the expression, falls right off the bone, this is what you want to happen to everything on that skull. You want the brain to fall off, you want the meat to fall off, all the ligaments to become detached, enough so that either they fall off or you pull them off. And of course, fast forward to between the first and second pot. And I say that because after I boil for about an hour and a half, I'll come out and do what you see me doing now. I'm pulling off big chunks and I'm tossing them in the water because the catfish love them. And I don't want Tank to eat them because that's nasty and he sleeps in my bed. So I use some needle nose pliers, I use some scrapers. I'll take a metal hanger and put it in the back of the brainstem area, the brain area, and poke everything around. You can see me peeling off those big chunks. Very, very easy. Get the big stuff off there, and then your next pot of water will stay clean much longer. Now you see me working on the lower jaws a lot, and that is because I always keep the lower jaw. If I'm going to take the time to boil everything out, and I'm going to take the time for this to look nice, I might as well keep the jaw bones, and worst comes to worst, I never use them. Best case scenario is I either use them for something later on in life, or I can sell them. People make all kinds of things out of jaw bones. You can even go to flea markets and trade jaw bones and deer teeth to different people with different booths. Who knows what you might find. And like I said, just continuing to peel away at that meat, get it all pulled off there as much as you can before you stick it back in the water later. And if I didn't mention before, I do use a straight pot of water the first time. I use nothing in the water, and I just go with clean water for the first pot. And if you're lucky enough like me to have a nice little lake right behind you, you can kind of throw the skull in there, rinse it around, and get some of the nasties off. Or you can just use a hose. Some people use a power washer, but my theory is I want this to be as simple as possible. That's why I don't whiten my skulls. I don't use hydrogen peroxide. I don't use bleach. I don't use all that silliness. I like my skulls to look natural. I want it to look like exactly what a dead head would resemble. And here will just be a bunch of pictures and videos of other Europeans I have done. This is the final product. I actually ran out of propane, so the big boy did not get done at the time frame in which I needed to make this video. I wanted to post this as soon as possible because a lot of you guys are killing mondos and we need to get these deer on the wall. And of course, I cannot go without talking about rack bracket. Rack bracket is an $18 wall mount for your European mount. You can use them on something you killed. You can use it on something that you found on a dead head. You can use them on shed antlers that you put on one of those fake skulls that they sell at Cabela's. And you can hang all of your European style mounts. Deer, bears, all kinds of good stuff. Anything with eye sockets and a mouth, you can hang on these hooks. They make some different sizes. They make some different designs. You can see this one is the shape of Indiana. This is probably the worst way for me to try to show it to you, but I was running out of time and deer season opens tomorrow, so I got things to do. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. If you have any other tips that you would like to share with others, drop them in the comments below. Go follow me on Instagram at Shield Outdoors, and you will see that big 11-pointer I killed this year, all finished up, all the teeth glued back in place, looking all good, looking all clean, not dangling pieces of meat like it is in this little clip. And do not forget, go check out Rack Bracket. $18 for their simple rack bracket. Takes 2 screws, plug it into the wall, and you hang your deer head from it. It swivels at a 7-degree angle. You can show your buddies the left side, the right side. You can show them all the sides of the deer that they didn't get to kill because they suck. So you can get your state. You can get a shape. You can get a sweet design. Just hit them up. They can probably help you out or work with you or do the best that they can to make you happy because they're awesome and they work with me and I like them and you should like them. Go check them out, Rack Bracket. See you guys next time.